What's going on, beautiful people? I'm going to do a short video on evidence I've just found out for the coming food shortage in Canada. First of all, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid ever. You are capable and strong. And even if a food shortage comes with information, it can be not as bad. So just like there might be dangerous people out there, but if you learn martial arts and you know how to handle yourself, you'll be less afraid. Also, going off a massive snowboard jump is pretty terrifying, but you can develop the skill necessary to do that with ease and comfort. And so the more we see things coming, the more we can prepare and we can be okay. And that's how I wanted to start this, because when I heard about food shortage, I was like, oh crap, start freaking out, buying lots of pasta and stuff like that. But now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. So here's what's going on. Let me share my screen. Okay, so there is a leaked email going around, and this one is talking about the Great Reset in Canada. Now, let me just cancel this. So I want to pull up this one. Hold on. My bad. My bad. I'm figuring this out. Give me 1 second. There we go. Here it is. Okay, so here's the leaked email that's going on in Canada, and it seems to be playing out very well. So now it says in Q2, enhanced lockdown restrictions referred to as the third lockdown. We've already seen propaganda for that going on, right? And so they want to lock us down even more for this variation of the virus or whatever. So that's in Q2, and then it says enhanced lockdown restrictions referred to as the third lockdown will be implemented. Full travel restrictions will be imposed, and then it says late Q2, up at the top here, 2021, projected supply chain breakdowns, inventory shortages, large economic instability expected late to Q2. And then, they want to talk about, making this, what is it? This universal basic income for Canada. So that's the timeline right there. So now, if I'm going to share a different screen with you of an article that I have found, we were talking about this at my friend's house the other day. He lives out in Norfolk County, and so he said there was a protest going on because they just changed all the legislations and rules so that the farmers basically couldn't provide the produce for the people. It wouldn't make any sense. So I started digging into it today and found an article which I will uh, show you now. So most of my friend was telling me that most of Ontario's produce it comes from Norfolk County, those farmers. Now, I don't know how it works in other countries, but I'm assuming they're going to do something similar there. I heard that that's what's going on with the channel, whatever was going on with the Suez Canal. I think that's what it's called. That had to do with supply breakdown. Also, you look at Bill Gates owning all of this farmland, and I learned years and years ago that there was a systematic defarming of Canada and the US, because if you control the food, well, you definitely control the people then. And so we need to move back to self-sustainability. Check out the work of Curtis Stone and anybody who's doing farming and things like that. We need to be sustainable, know where your local farmers are, and get in touch with them now. So this is what's going on that I just found out in Norfolk. And what they say is they're protesting. They say if things don't turn around, Canadians may face a shortage of outgrown food and vegetables in 2021 and beyond. So they've just implemented these crazy quarantine orders for these workers. So let's go down here. The Norfolk Health Unit implemented a Section 22 order back in March 2020, which required some 4,000 workers who arrived from other countries to quarantine for 2 weeks before starting on the job. The Section 22 order also bars more than 3 workers from staying in the same bunkhouse, regardless of floor space. And so you might have massive amount of floor space that used to house, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 workers. I don't know how big they are. My friend was telling me there's some massive ones. The most you can do now is 3. So where are they supposed to put them? Right. And my friend was also telling me that all the fruits and vegetables that are distributed, they're all handpicked. It's not machined. All the apples, everything out there is all handpicked. So they work really hard and they tour them around to different farms on these buses. So they get off the bus, they pick so much produce that goes to the store. People in Ontario eat that. They're happy because they're getting their fruits and vegetables. And so basically, what's happening through these orders is they're destroying all that deliberately. So we're talking about essential workers, this and that, and then they're like, all right, well, we're gonna knowingly destroy the food supply. What like, my goodness, come on, people, let's wake up here a little bit. So new additional rules were implemented by the health unit last Monday regarding the transportation of farm workers from Pearson Airport. Workers are now only allowed to travel in maximum groups of 3 instead of by busload. So now the farmer has to basically send these private shuttles for all these people back and forth from the airport. They can't afford to do that. What else did they do? They also said, I don't know if it's in this articles, um, they also can't transport them by bus from farm to farm, so that changed, and some other ridiculous things that you can go look into. So basically, this timeline email of the Great Reset in Canada is still unfolding um, accurately. And so they're designing this. This is specific to Canada. I'm sure they're doing similar things in other places. And so what people need to do, what these farmers need to do, is just disobey and figure out the law around it and get into some of these groups and figure out what can be done, because we need to help these people. We need to support our farmers. And the more that I learn about law, the more I realize, I've heard that farmers get messed with the most, because they don't want people to be self-sustaining, producing a lot of food, a lot of extra food, because you're going to be dependent. You're not going to be dependent on the government for your supply, and that's what's happening here. They want us to be dependent on that universal basic income that they want to provide by destroying the economy and on food. And then, wow, they can really control the people, because if you don't have your vaccination, well, then you don't get your food from the government. And so we want to be moving in the opposite direction. We want to be moving in towards community, self-sustainability, honesty, and integrity. And when you peel back the layers of this, it's very easy to figure out what's going on, but people are becoming wise. So I suggest studying up on law in any country you are. This is a do not pass go, do not collect 300 because or $200 scenario. We need to understand this as adults. I'm just at the beginning of the process, but it is so important. And there's some great teachers out there talking about the law and what's going on, because the way that this is being orchestrated is through commerce. These are weaponized instruments being done through commerce. So five in the letter. I'm not even going to say it because they're going to, ban me there, but you know what I'm talking about. There's Josh Del Sol did a summit on that and talking about how dangerous it is. Cal Washington in Canada helped people get them the smart meters off their house, which was also a technology. And so all these technologies are being deployed commercially. And then also what's happening, the bar association in cahoots with the bank and the government is kind of like controlling everything, but they have no authority to do that. And it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. It's like we're giving them all this power because we've just never looked into it. We've never been taught about it. And it's like, wow, they can just dictate anything that they want to do to us. But the opposite is true when you start understanding law, that the people have all the power. We've just kind of willingly given it up. And it takes a lot of time to process, but there are some giants out there that have been trying to educate people for a long time to figure out what their rights are. So today, going into Subway, the lady's like, you need to wear a mask. And I was like, I'm exempt. She's like, it's mandatory. And I said, do you understand the law? And then she just said, I'm sorry. I was like, no, I don't. Do you understand the law? He goes, I'm sorry. And I was like, oh, like these are random people, like Alphonse Fagiolo, who I invite you to check out as well. He's been on the podcast. He says they're button pushers. They don't know. And so we need to understand this stuff because they have a massive Achilles heel. The more of us that know it, we can disrupt the system. It really requires our consent and our ignorance. So I'll just leave it at that. There's other videos I want to do around traveling in Canada. More and more people are not doing the forced, they say it's a mandatory test. No, it's not. You can refuse, but they're really trying to coerce people into it. You don't have to take that test. Then they're going to give you a ticket, right? You can fight that ticket. So if they make you sign it in Canada, right, without prejudice, then they're not going to. So you write without prejudice above your signature on anything that a cop or anyone ever gives you. And there's a study guide on without prejudice and how it works in Canada and the origins of that. And I only understand it a little bit. And then you sign underneath that. And I guess it makes like it's like no contract. Like I'm not going to do business with you. It's kind of the same way as like saying duress, you know, signing under duress. So then we've had this in Canada where a woman got pulled over, she got a ticket, she signed without prejudice, and then the police had to go try to serve her because when they brought it to the court, the judge said there's no defendant here, right? We can't do anything with this. And so they actually take that bill, and please, anybody in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. You've seen some of my videos, right? I'm just a newbie at this. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. But they had to try to serve her because there was no defendant there. And so when you go to court, they're creating a security, or they're creating value from your signature. That $100 or that $1,000 fine, there's a bank and there's a clerk, and I guess it creates real value, and people are getting paid from that. So again, you need to talk to the Wizards about this. Alphonse Fagiolo can tell you about it, and Ken Cousins out of the UK, Cal Washington as well, and there are many others that can explain this. There's a great YouTube channel called Justinian Deception, Justinian Banking. Romley Stewart, Mark Patelik has been on the show as well. And so I'm just wrapping my noodle around this stuff, but it is very, very important to understand. And so, yeah, so if you do that for the ticket, there's going to be a way to fight it as well. And so don't be afraid of a ticket, be more afraid of unwanted, you know, testing, because people are getting harmed through these tests. They're getting really close to the blood-brain barrier. There's already been proven nanoparticles on it. Many people have taken video recordings and put them under microscopes and found these little nanoparticles, active nanoparticles in the swabs. So that's some dangerous stuff. You don't want that going near your brain, and people are getting damaged and dying from this. And so we're in a war. This is happening, but this is also a wonderful war because it's the Great Awakening. Some people are going to get harmed and have already been harmed. But the good people, the people with, spirit and integrity, are standing up all over the world for what's right. And we're going to work together, and things might get squirrely, but we're going to be pushed towards solutions. And so don't be afraid, be prepared, keep your eyes open, make the smartest decisions you can, create alignment in communities with like-minded people, and just keep focused on solutions. We're going to be all right. So that's my suggestion. I don't think we should be ignoring this. I think we should be looking at it head on, and then building and participating fully in the solutions. And so that's it. Have a wonderful day. Oh, I'll check over on the YouTube. Okay. Hey guys. So the YouTube as well, it doesn't get shared out because I'm blocked and shadow banned and all that kind of stuff. But happy to do Q&As. Leave messages in the comments. You can find me over on Rockfin as well, and Odyssey and Library. I'm really active on Telegram. And so please share these podcasts as far as you can, because they're getting censored like nuts. It's completely ridiculous. On Instagram, people have told me that they can't even tag me on Instagram and share. So they try to tag me and share my stuff. It just deletes, and they can't do it. Or they'll search for me directly and I won't come up. Or they can't even find my channel, and they have to go in their history and find it directly and put it in. So all kinds of squirrely stuff is happening. And then join the membership as well. So that's the best way to stay direct with me. Go to mattbelair.com, become a member. You can do it by donation. I have a suggested offer. Like, please, if this is worth it, that would be great. And if you don't have that kind of income, that's okay. You just send me an email, matt@zenathlete.com. You can become a member and get all that amazing content. There's tons of epic content over there, absolutely free, as my gift to you. And so, and if you can support, that would be amazing. Even if it's like $1 or a couple bucks a month, if just a small percentage of people did that, I would be doing fine. So that's it. And yeah, if you have any questions, YouTube, Instagram, email, happy to get back to you. And the problem with the lives, I do more Q&As, but they don't go out. So maybe I'll set a date and time, and that way people will know when I'm doing them. So big love. Have an amazing day. Awesome.